Hey guys, I'm Akash and welcome to Pabbly. So the topic for today's video is how to add Google Analytics data to Google Sheets. Now suppose guys you are on a website and you are using Google Analytics to monitor all the analytics data, traffic and activities on your website. Now guys, you also want to share this same analytics data with your team members. So you want to add this very same details, this very same data into a Google Sheet so you can add this or share this data with your team members. But guys, the manual process of getting the analytics data from Google Analytics and manually adding that very same data into a Google Sheet can be very much repetitive and time consuming. So in this video guys, I came up with an awesome automation in which on a regular time interval of your choice, just for an example, let's take 15 days. So if you want to get the analytics data every 15 days and add that very same data into Google Sheet to share with your team members, so using this automation at a regular interval, we will get the details or the data of our Google Analytics account, of our website analytics from Google Analytics, and we will automatically add that very same data into Google Sheets. Now how we are going to do this? We will be using Pabbly Connect, which is an automation and integration software to make this happen. Now, what is the actual step-by-step guide to set up this automation and how you can create this automation by yourself? To know this, you have to come with me to my screen.
So as you can see, here we are on the Pabbly Connect dashboard. Now to reach this dashboard, you just have to go to your browser and search for Pabbly, pabbly.com/connect. And after reaching to the landing page of Pabbly Connect, by clicking on sign up free, you can create your free Pabbly Connect account in just 2 minutes. Or if you already have an account, just click on sign in. So after reaching this dashboard, click on create workflow and give this workflow a name. For example, I would like to name my workflow as Google Analytics to Google Sheets and click on create. Now we can see that our workflow is open over here. And in this workflow, we have two different windows. First one is trigger window, second one is action window. So triggers and actions are basically those two concepts, those two principles on which this whole automation works on, where the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. So let's begin with our trigger window. So the idea here is first we have to get the details, data or the statistics from Google Analytics in Pabbly Connect. Then after that, after getting those statistics, we have to send that very same stats to the Google Sheet using Pabbly Connect. But guys, just take an example that I want to get the statistics, the analytics data every 15 days. So I want this automation to be executed to run every 15 days. So every 15 days, after every 15 days, this automation will run, get the stats from my Google Analytics account and add those very same stats into a Google Sheet. Now to do so, now to ensure that this automation should run every 15 days, we will be using a feature of Pabbly Connect that is schedule. So let's search for schedule over here. Select schedule. And after that, after selecting schedule by Pabbly, it is asking us how often you want to run your workflow. So in the drop down below, we can see several options at regular intervals, once every day, days of the week or dates of the month. So we want to run this workflow, we want to execute this automation at a regular interval. So let's select this and every 15 days. So we want to run this workflow every 15 days. So we will enter 15 over here and the time span will be days. So after selecting the time span, it is asking us for the time, that at what time this workflow should be executed. For example, I want this automation to be run as 11 a.m. in the morning. So I have entered that time over here. And after that, just click on save. Now, as we click on save, we have added schedule. We have scheduled this workflow to be executed every 15 days at 11 a.m. So after every 15 days, the automation will start. So we have made the first move, first step is done. Now let's move to second step. For that, we'll scroll down and come to this action window. Now we want to get the details or the analytics data from Google Analytics. For that, just click on this choose app section and here we have to search for Google Analytics. Google Analytics it is. And after that, in action event from the drop down, we have to select run report. Just this is the action event. And after that, click on connect. Select add new connection and just click on connect with Google Analytics account. So here guys, we have to connect our Google Analytics account with Pabbly Connect. Just click on this, select our Google Analytics account And that's it. Scroll down and click on continue. And as we click on continue, we can see that our Google Analytics account is now successfully connected with Pabbly Connect. After making the connection, the first thing it asks us is property ID. That what is the property ID of our Google Analytics account? So we just have to read the help text given below, which says a Google Analytics GA4 property identifier whose events are tracked. Specify the URL path and not the body. To learn more, see here. So by clicking here, you will find more details about the property ID. But in this video, I will show you how you can get the property ID, or if you haven't created any property settings yet, how you can do that. So let's go to the dashboard of my Google Analytics account. So this is my account net dashboard, and on the left side, we can see admin over here. Just click on admin. And after clicking on admin, you just have to select your Google Analytics account from here. And after that, by clicking here, by clicking on this create property button, you can create a property of your choice if you haven't done yet. So let me select this account over here, my Google Analytics account, and let me select the property ID. So this is the property ID on which I have already done. And after creating the property, as you can see over here, I have already created a property by name of PC testing. Just go to the property settings. Now, as we click on property settings, we can see that on the right side, we can see property ID. Just copy this property ID from here, go to Pabbly Connect and paste it over here. So after adding the property ID, the next thing it asks us is start date and end date. So what is the time duration? What is the start date and end date of what time period or what time duration we want to get this Google Analytics, Google Statistics from Google Analytics account of ours. So we want to get the details or statistics or analytics from our Google Analytics account of last 15 days. So we have to enter the start date, a date before 15 days from today, means the date on which this automation, this workflow will be executed. We want to get a date before 15 days from today's date, for example, and the end date should be today's date on the day on which we are executing this automation. Now we haven't received any start date or end date over here in this workflow. So we have to add this start date and end date over here. And for that, we'll just scroll up, and here we'll go before the Google Analytics tab, we'll just click on this add actions tab button over here. Now after clicking on Add Actions tab, here in Choose App, we will search for a feature of Pabbly Connect, that is Date-Time Formatter. So let's select Date-Time Formatter over here. And after selecting Date-Time Formatter, in the action event from the drop-down below, we have to select Modify Current Date first. Just select Modify Current Date and click on Connect. So using Modify Current Date, we can make additions or subtractions in number of days, minutes or hours in the current date. So the first thing it asks us is date format. So the format in which Google Analytics asks us for the date is year, month and day. So we will be selecting this very same format over here from the drop-down, year, month, day. After selecting the format, it is asking us for the time zone. So the time zone of my Google Analytics account, the property ID which I have created, the time zone of that particular property is India, is of India. So we will select this very same time zone over here, Asia, Kolkata. After selecting the time zone, it is asking us operation. So in the drop down, we have two options, additions or subtraction. We want to subtract 15 days. We want to get the 15 days date of 15 days before today. So we will select subtract over here and the unit will be days. So from the drop down, select days and the value will be 15. And after that, we will just click on save and send test request. After clicking on save and send test request, we can see that we have received a response over here. And in this response, we can see a date before 15 days before from today. So today is 2nd of August as I'm recording this video, and we have received a date 15 days before from today's date, that is 18th of July. So we have received the start date of the analytics. Now we want to add the end date. For that, just click on this add action step button once again. Then we'll just scroll down and once again we'll search for date time formatter. And using date time formatter, this time in the action event, we will select current date. So we want to get the date or the statistics for till today, till the day this workflow has been executed. So we have to enter today's date, that is current date. So in current date, just click on connect. And here we'll select the format, the same format, year, month and date. And it is asking us include time in response. So we don't want to get the time in response. So we will select it false over here from the drop down and click on save and send test request. And we will see that we can see current date, the today's date on which the date on which this automation will be executed. We have that very same date, that is 2nd of August 2022 means today's date. So after adding both the dates in our workflow, we just have to scroll down and click on this connect button in Google Analytics tab. And because we have connected our Google Analytics account in this very same step, we just have to make the connection once again because we have added some new data in this automation, this workflow before this step. So just click select existing connection and click on save. After that, after connecting it once again, we will just scroll down and come to the start date section. And at the start date, we just have to click here. And from the drop down, we can see both the dates, both the responses which we have received from datetime formatter. So the first time we used datetime formatter, we received a date 15 days before today's date, the execution date of this automation. So we want to get the stats from which should be start from that date. So we just select it and map that date over here in the start date section. Then we will come to end date. Just click on this field, and from the datetime formatter current date responses, we will select today's date as the end date. So we want to get the statistics data from Google Analytics of this time duration. So we have mapped this both the dates over here. After mapping start date and end date, we will scroll down and come to metric name. So here we have to actually enter the matrix of the statistics which we want to get. So just for an example, the metrics which we want to get, we can see all of those metrics over here in this hyperlink. Just click on it and a new tab, we can see all the metrics over here. So guys, here in this video, we will take example of 4 metrics, that is active users, bounce rate, conversions and sessions. So we have to basically give API names for that metrics, Google Analytics metrics. So at this very same page, you will find all of those API names over here. For example, for bounce rate, this is the API name of bounce rate. Just copy this API name from here, go to Pabbly Connect, and here in metric name, paste it over here. Then after that, we just have to add a comma, and after the comma, we can add another metric. So the next metric is session. So we will search for session, and also we wanted to take the conversions. So here in conversion, we'll copy this API name of this metric conversion, go back to Pabbly Connect, and paste it over here. Then after that, it is what we were also looking for active users. So let's search for the active users metric. This is active users. This is the API name of that very same metric. We just have to copy it and paste it over here. So basically, guys, in metric name section, we have to mention the names of the metrics in the API name form. As we can see at this very same page, we have the API name, we have the UI name, which we see on the Google Analytics dashboard, and we have the description of that metric. So the last metric is sessions. So let's search for sessions. Let's scroll down. Okay, this is the sessions metric, and this is the API name for sessions metric. Let's copy this. Copy it from here. Go to Pabbly Connect and paste it over here. So guys, in this way, you can basically add as many metrics as you want, as many as data you want to get from Google Analytics and add into Google Sheet. You just have to enter the API names of that very same metric. And you will find the API name of matrix over here in this page. Just click on this hyperlink, and at this page, you will find everything. So in this way, you can basically add, by adding commas, you can basically add as many as metric names as you want to get the details of. After that, it is asking us for the metrics expression. So guys, the metric expression is basically the quantitative measurement of data and show how a website or a product or an app is performing in relation to a specific dimension. So if you want to get your analytics data in respect to a specific dimension, like for example, total number of users, you can enter that over here. So in comparison to what data we want to get this analytics data from Google Analytics. So whatever expression that will be, we have to enter that expression in this metric and expression field. So this is not a required field, mandatory field. So you can basically either add it or either leave it blank. After that, after metrics expression, it is asking us filter by metric. So what is the filter? The help text below says enter dimension or metric name for filtering. Must be name defined as a dimension of metric, for example, active users. So basically the data which we are getting, I want to filter this metric, this data on the basis of active users. So here in filter by metric, I will enter active users. If you have some other kind of filter over here or want to add some other kind of filter or in some other conditions like instead of active user, you want to get this data, this analytics data on the basis of total users or inactive users or something like that, you can basically add filter by metric over here, that particular metric over here. So after entering filter by metric, it is asking us metric operator. So in the metric operator dropdown, we can see few values, few options, which is greater than, less than, equals to, less than or equals to, greater than or equals to, or unspecified. So here we have to basically enter a metric comparison value, and we will get the analytics data over that value. Like for example, if I select metric operator is greater than, then the select the opportunity applied to the numeric filters. So the whatever metric comparison value I will be adding over here in this field, if the analytics data is over that, then we will get the details. For example, I will select greater than, and here metric comparison value, let's for an example, I will enter 10. So I will get the metric operators, the response or the Google Analytics data over here if the metrics of the values are more than 10, which is definitely your analytics data value will be, numeric value will be more than 10. So after entering metric comparison value, we just have to click on save and send test requests. Let's click on it. And after clicking on save and send test request, we can see that we have received a response over here. And in this response, all the metric names which we have entered over here, like bounce rate, conversion, active users, and sessions, all the metric names which we have entered, we have received the analytics data of that particular metric in Pabbly Connect. So this is the bounce rate of our 15 days of the property which I've created over here in Google Analytics of this particular property of my account. Then after that, this is the conversion, this is the active users, and this is the sessions. Which means, guys, the step 1 or step 2, should I say, of setting up this automation is now successfully completed. We have successfully received the analytics data from Google Analytics of our website or product which we are tracking from Google Analytics in Pabbly Connect. That too of past 15 days, which we wanted to add. The very same time duration whose start date and end date we have added. So this is the analytics data of past 15 days, the same start date and end date which we have added in this step over here. So this is the start date, end date, and of this time duration, this is the analytics data. Now we want to add this very same data into a Google Sheet. So this is the Google Sheet which I have created. And in this Google Sheet, we have added date, that at what date we are adding this data, what is the analytics statistics data of active users, sessions, bounce rate, and conversion. So we have to basically add this very same data into Google Sheets. For that, we'll scroll down and click on this add action step button over here. And here in choose app, we will select Google Sheets over here. After selecting Google Sheets in this action step, in action event, we have to select add new row. Click on connect, select add new connection. Now guys, here we have to connect our Google Sheets account with Pabbly Connect. And to make this connection, just click on connect with Google Sheets. And here just select your Google Sheets account. And after selecting your Google Sheets account, just scroll down and click on continue. Now we can see that we have successfully connected our Google Sheets account with Pabbly Connect. Now after making the connection, we will scroll down and the first thing it asks us is select spreadsheet. So in the drop down below, we can see a list of all the spreadsheets which we have created in our Google Sheets account can be seen over here. So the spreadsheet which I have created to store the Google Analytics data is named as Google Analytics Stats. So we will select this very same spreadsheet from the drop down. Google Analytics Stats. After selecting the spreadsheet, it is asking us select sheet. So here guys, the sheet is sheet 1. So we have only one sheet over here in this spreadsheet. So here by default it is selected sheet 1. Then we can see that all the columns which we have created in our Google Sheet, in our Google spreadsheet can be seen over here. So we had the column for date, active users, session, bounce rate, and conversions. So these very same columns which we have added in our Google spreadsheets can be seen over here. So guys, basically in date, we have to add the date on which we will be adding. So using date time formatter, basically we have received the date, the today's date, the current date on which we are executing this automation. So we have to basically map this very same date over here in this field of date. And as we all saw, the process of mapping is very simple. Simply click on this field and from the drop down from the responses of date time formatter current date, select the response of date and map it. Then after that, it is asking us for the active users. So we have received the analytics data of active users from Google Analytics. And from the responses, we have to map this very same response over here in this active user. Just click on this field and from the responses of Google Analytics, select the response of active users and map it over here. Follow the same process for session as well. From the drop down of Google Analytics, map the response or the analytics data of session. Next for bounce rate, this is the bounce rate, and at last this is the conversion. the response of conversion. So guys, basically all the data, all the Google Analytics data which we have received from Google Analytics in Pabbly Connect, we have mapped that very same response in this Google Sheets step. And after mapping all of these data, just click on Save and Send Test Request. After clicking on Save and Send Test Request, we can see that we have received a response over here. And this response seems to be a positive response to us. This response shows that all of the data which we have mapped over here is now added in our Google Sheet. So let's check our Google Sheet. And yes guys, we can see that on our Google Sheet, the Google Analytics data from Google Analytics is now automatically added. We have today's date, that the date on which we have received that analytics data. We have active users, the number of active users, the analytics data of active users, session, bounce rate, and conversion. The same metrics which we have added in our Google Analytics tab, we have received the analytics data of those metrics and added those very same numbers in our Google Sheet as well. Which means guys, the automation which we have created in this video is working perfectly fine. So after setting up this automation, let's understand in brief that what are the steps we followed while setting up this automation guys once again. So let me minimize all the steps and let's understand in brief over here. So guys, first I have created a workflow. I have set up an automation in Pabbly Connect, and in this workflow in trigger application, we have added schedule. So we wanted to get the analytics data from Google Analytics every 15 days. So using scheduler, we told this workflow that we want to run this automation every 15 days. Now, neither before that nor after that, every 15 days. And we have also selected or also entered the time at what time we want to get the analytics data. After scheduling it, in the next step, using date-time formatter, we have basically modified the current date, the date on which this automation will be run. First, it will modify the current date and subtract 15 days from that particular date so that we can get the date, the analytics start date, 15 days before this current date. After that, in the next step using date-time formatter, we have received the current date so that when Google Analytics asks us for the So when Google Analytics asks us for the end date of the analytics data, we can get that today's end date. So we want to get the details from 15 days, past 15 days. So we have received the date of 15 days before today from first step of date time formatter, and the second date time formatter, we have received current date. And after that, we have mapped this very same date in the Google Analytics step. So basically, we connected our Google Analytics account with Pabbly Connect. After that, we have mapped all of these data. We have added all the metrics and expressions as well as filters of the analytics data which we want to get from Google Analytics. And after receiving that analytics data from Google Analytics step, we have sent that very same data to Google Sheet so that using this automation every 15 days, this automation will get the analytics data from Google Analytics and add that very same data into Google Sheets. So not just these applications guys, you can basically connect plenty of other applications using Pabbly Connect. And guys, one more important thing. You will find the clone link of this very same workflow in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can clone this very same workflow into your own Pabbly Connect account and use this workflow for free.
If you need any kind of help or have any queries, you can ask them on forum.pabbly.com, and you can check Pabbly Connect's pricing at this link. So if this video was helpful to you, you can like this video, don't forget to share it with others, and to keep getting such content on automation and integration, you can subscribe to Pabbly. Thank you, have a nice day.